What is going on, everyone? Platinum Bees coming at you with yet another video. Today we are doing another episode of the Platinum Bees Answers series. I look forward to getting into the comments that you all left for me on last week's video. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, everyone, so we had some pretty interesting comments on last week's video, so we're going to just dive right on in. Be sure to leave your comment on this video so that I will respond to it in next week's video. And so let's see who we have first. So up first, we have Mr. Jack. Mr. Jack says, any chance you invite a platinum-focused refiner, miner, or bullion dealer onto the channel for an interview? I've heard silver and gold focused interviews on other channels and generally think they're pretty good. I will have to think about that and consider that, because that would be a pretty interesting take, I think. It would be pretty interesting to get someone on the channel who understands platinum really well from a different standpoint, or perhaps the same standpoint, but just a little bit more thorough in their reasoning and thought process. So I do think that is a definitely good opportunity I could take up as far as adding more content to my channel and introducing someone who also either invests in platinum, stacks platinum, or even sells platinum, such as a bullion dealer like you mentioned. So I'll definitely have to take a look at that, Jack. I'll have to see who's out there and who would be the best candidate for that. But thank you for your comment, my friend. I really appreciate it. And I love seeing your comments because you always post really good questions and things and ideas and stuff. So keep doing what you're doing, my friend. Up next, we have Mr. The Silver Referee. Says, what is one thing you wish you knew when you first started stacking platinum? So what I wish I knew. Well, I got started stacking platinum, but it was not my main focus when I first started stacking it, right? I added it more so just to be adding an extra kind of diversification to my stack. I didn't... All right, we're going to cut this. We're going to cut this. We're going to cut this. I didn't know that platinum had such a high premium attached to it, and when I saw that, I wanted to avoid that. That was one of my biggest stumbling blocks when first stacking platinum. Was I didn't like the metal that much because the premium was so high. So the only platinum I got was on the secondhand market for people selling at much lower premiums, which is not a bad play to make, but I've slowly over time moved more towards dealers. I know the premiums are higher with dealers, but if you look out for deals, they are out there and they pop up every now and then, and it's easier to get platinum at a decent deal on a secondhand market, especially with the way premiums are these days. It's really kind of hard to really save a whole lot of money on a secondhand market because a lot of secondhand people or private individuals want to get the premium that dealers are selling for. So they only list it a little bit below. So it's almost not worth waiting like it used to be. But I do wish I kind of was able to get past that a lot quicker because I probably would have had a lot larger platinum stack. I don't really know. It kind of depends, but that is definitely something I wish I had just kind of learned more about in the beginning. But that's a great question, Silver Referee. I really appreciate your question, my friend, and I look forward to seeing more comments from you. So thank you, and let's see who we have next. So we have Mr. Aloha Stacker. Says, love these Q&As, as you know. Do you think the Royal Mint will come out with a Queen's Beast Completer coin in platinum? I think so. I think it's just kind of inevitable at this point. I think they know that they can make money selling it because they've made plenty of money selling the platinum versions. I won't say it's a guarantee because they have not announced that that is going to happen. However, I think the Royal Mint would really be missing out if they didn't. Now, they might make less of the platinum than the gold and silver, which I already think they do with the regular bullion versions. But I do believe they will release it, and I hope they will release it. But first, we got to get that Greyhound out of the way because the horse was the most recent addition, and they still have to make the Greyhound. So they still got a little bit while to go. It probably won't be until next year that they release the Completer Coin series, which means I just got to wait that much longer to complete my Queen's Beast series, I suppose. Nevertheless, it's an awesome addition that they added to the Queen's Beast series, so I'm kind of happy about it. And I look forward to stacking both the Greyhound and the Completer coin if they do end up releasing it. But thank you for your comment, Aloha Stacker. I really appreciate it. And everyone should go check out Aloha Stacker. He has an awesome channel with a lot of great content. Up next, we have Mr. Let me see if I can get this right. It's Sly Bry, I believe. I believe I originally called you Sly Bree, but I believe your name is actually Sly Bry. Hi Beast, thank you for the periodic dealer reviews on finding good deals and prices. This has been helpful, and you end up introducing me to companies I'm not familiar with, like Bold Precious Metals. I was wondering what you think about Monex. So I'm not sure about Monex. I'll have to do more research into that, and I'll have to look into that. I am unfamiliar with Monex, but what I can tell you is I will take a look at that and do a little bit more research and get back to you on that. So I'll try my best to remember to mention Monex, or even might do a video on them if they seem worth video material. But if I don't, I'll try to remember to mention you in next week's video, letting you know what my thoughts are on Monex, because I have yet to see what they are all about. But that is a great question, my friend, and a great point you make. I will definitely look into that and share with you all my thoughts. So thank you, Sly Bry. I really appreciate it. Up next, we have Mr. Luke Farley. Says, awesome, thanks. Okay, next one for you. How many people do you think stack platinum relative to the amount of people that stack gold and silver? Much smaller demand. And we know this based simply on the mintage of gold eagles, silver eagles, and platinum eagles. I think that is a great indicator because America is one of the biggest stacker countries. Do not get me wrong, people stack all over the world. Small third world countries, large first world countries like Australia, Great Britain, it does not matter. There are stackers everywhere. Now, in some countries, it's a little bit harder to get metals, and some countries, it's a little bit easier, perhaps. But, nevertheless, there are stackers all over the world. But, if we take a look at the American Eagle coin series for each of the different metals, and palladium is not really included in this one, but you didn't mention palladium. Platinum is minted far lower than gold and silver, so that means that platinum stackers exist far lower than gold or silver, or at least they stack a lot less platinum than they do gold and silver. So that's another kind of take you can make. You know, somebody might buy 5 gold eagles in a year and 1 platinum eagle. That also will affect the numbers, but I personally think it is way low on the stackers scale because it is such a different metal than your typical stacking metal. It's a great metal to stack, but I do think it's different enough that very few people actually stack it. And from what I've seen in the YouTube community, there are a few individuals who stack it on the side. It is definitely not their main metal, such as myself, but there are a lot of people who stack it on the side, and some people really believe in it a lot and stack a good amount of it, more than just like an ounce or two here or there. But even some of the big names stack it, so it is a very viable metal, but it is number 3 for sure as far as priorities for stacking for most people. So great comment, Luke Farley. I really appreciate it, my friend, and I hope to see more comments from you. Okay, so next up we have Wasatch Wizard. Wasatch Wizard says, that would be sweet to get a maple at 40 plus spot. Is that the best deal on platinum you've gotten? Yes, it is, and that would be awesome if the dealers came back out with that. I believe it was Provident Metals at the time, and that was pre-JM Bullion buyout. So Provident their deals kind of went downhill a little bit when they were bought out by JM. They're pretty much the same thing you find on JM for the most part, usually. Very similar sales as far as their sales. In fact, that's the only point Provident Metals even exists anymore, is because of the sales, because otherwise the inventory is the exact same on JM Bullion. So whatever you can find on Provident, you can find on JM. The only difference is their sales every week are different. So you kind of get to dip your hand into both. But realistically, they could just list all those sale items on JM Bullion rather than having to have two websites. I really don't know why they keep them up. Perhaps it's just people are familiar with Provident and they don't realize it's the same company. So they're like, I had a great experience with Provident, so I'm going to go shop at Provident. And if Provident went down, they might not end up at JM Bullion. So that's the only reason I can think that they keep the website alive. However, that was an amazing deal back in the day, and who knows, we might see that deal again. I also remember when 1/10-ounce platinum coins did not have the premium that they have today. They used to be like 10 or 20 bucks over spot, and now they're like almost double spot, which is kind of crazy. Not quite double spot, but really close. And on the Eagles, they definitely really are. But that's a topic for another day. The demand is increasing, and the dealers know it, so they raise the prices a little bit on those fractionals. The 1-ouncers, though, have always been 50 to 100 over spot. Like I said, I found that maple, but that was a very rare deal and just something unique in and of itself. But thank you for your comment, Wasatch Wizard. I really appreciate it. Up next, we have Mr. KS Coins in the building. Mr. KS Coins says, great video, sir. Curious on your thoughts on, do you see platinum passing gold? Maybe hanging out with palladium. Have a wonderful week. Yes, I do see it passing gold. I'm kind of hesitant to say it will happen this year, but I do see it passing that at some point, right? It could happen this year, but I think that's getting a little ahead of ourselves. However, I do think it's going to substantially increase this year, and I think it will be the biggest increase of all the metals for the year 2021. But that's just my guess. That's not financial advice. That's just my opinion, my thoughts, and my feelings. So do with that as you will, but always make decisions for yourself. And I'm not just speaking to UKS Coins on that. I'm speaking to anybody who happens to watch this video. Make sure to do your own research and come to your own conclusions and do what is best for you as far as stacking. But great question, KS Coins. I really appreciate it, my friend. And I always love seeing comments from you. Up next, we got Mr. Toker Talk. Mr. Toker Talk says, since the world is so heavily dependent on platinum from South Africa, how do you think the civil war there will affect prices going forward? Well, I mean, it all really depends. Will all the other countries ramp up their platinum production? I think they'll at least try because it is a necessary metal. However, I think there will be a drought, so to speak. A small drought or a large drought where if platinum ceases to be mined or mined much, much less than it is, then the demand will still be there, but the supply will not be keeping up. So that will probably raise the overall price as a whole, and it will probably be very difficult to recover from that added deficit from, being in a civil war, so to speak. So that's definitely something to keep in mind and remain concerned of as far as stacking platinum, because that is something that could help platinum stackers. But I mean, you don't really want to see anybody go to war and do that. So it's definitely reaping the benefits off of like a bad situation. So it's kind of a weird kind of moral place to be, but it would help platinum stackers and their stacks appreciate overall. So it is something interesting to take note of and keep a watch out for. But that's what I think about that. And I really appreciate your comment, Toker Talk. And I always love seeing comments from you, my friend. So thank you. Up next, we have Mr. Van. Mr. Van says, do you think generic platinum is good for stacking, particularly platinum rounds? Also, have you seen older platinum coins from Panama? I think they're beautiful. Yes, I have seen those Panamanian coins. I believe they're called Balboas or something. I might be pronouncing that incorrectly. But those platinum Panamanian coins are very, very cool. And I'd love to have one in my stack one day. Hopefully, one day I will. But I think those are super awesome. And as far as generic platinum, I think it's good for stacking. I think it fits a specific niche, so to speak, right? I like buying coins because I think they go up collectability-wise over time because the mintages are so low, and they are coins at the end of the day. There's a lot of coin collectors out there, and they collect all different metals of coins. Gold, platinum, even palladium, and silver. So I think I like sticking with the coins with that added benefit that my coin could end up collectible and adding a little bit of value over time rather than a generic. A generic is just going to move wherever spot prices moves plus a little bit of premium. That's not a bad place to be because chances are if you bought a generic platinum piece, you paid less premium in the beginning. So it's definitely more of a stacker kind of side of things on the bars and the rounds. But I personally like the coins because it makes stacking platinum a little bit more fun. And the premiums, at least when the coin comes out, aren't usually that bad. So it's something easy to swallow. And it may add a little bit more collectability to my overall stack. But that's just me, and different people do different things. But I'm not against generics at all, and I do plan on actually picking up some generic stuff at some point here in the near future. So I'm definitely on both sides of the platform as far as that is concerned. But great question, Van. I really appreciate it, my friend. And I look forward to seeing more comments from you. Up next, we have Mr. Benny Benny. Mr. Benny Benny says, have you ever had to sell any PMs at a loss? I have not been that unfortunate yet. I expect maybe the day might come where I might have to. It just kind of depends. I kind of like to stay a little bit of liquid so that I don't have to sell metals. It's all about just planning and budgeting and things of that nature. But the day could come where I might have to. And if that day came, I would hope that I'm at a premium, not really so much a loss. But it could happen. It's totally possible and totally plausible. What it would really boil down to, I personally think, because I think all the metals just go up with inflation over time, and inflation is never going to end, basically. And I know everyone says that, but I truly think the normal yearly inflation that we see, about 2% on average, is never going to change. So with that, I think the prices always go up. So it would have to boil down to something so bad happening that I would have to sell basically my entire stack and get down to what I just recently purchased. And chances are I probably wouldn't get very much premium right out of it unless the metals shot up right after I bought or something like that. Or perhaps if I bought a generic bar of platinum, gold, or silver, and instead of selling my premium stuff, the coins and stuff I just want to get rid of like the generic, I might sell at a little bit of a loss, but I would never sell for a drastic loss, if that makes sense. But fortunately, I have been lucky enough to not ever have to really sell at a loss. So that's been great overall. And I wish that on every stacker of precious metals. But thank you for your comment, Benny Benny. I really appreciate it, my friend. And last but not least, we have Mr. Tree Poker says, I spend day and night studying macroeconomics, and there's a chance that platinum is one of the cheapest good assets left in this world. I totally agree with you, my friend. And that's really interesting you study macroeconomics, because in college, I was not very good at macro or microeconomics. I took both classes, but I wasn't that good at them, so that's super awesome that you like studying that, though, and you think platinum is one of the cheapest good assets left in the world. And I really agree with you. I think it's very, very, very undervalued right now, and I think it's very inexpensive, so to speak. It's an expensive metal, don't get me wrong. I know some people will be like, it costs way too much for me to buy. That's totally okay, but relatively speaking, what's the word? Yeah, basically, relatively speaking, it's cheap when you really boil down to what its value probably should be at, and what have you. And we got a comment to Mr. Tree Poker, says, Amarafi says, very true, I came to the same conclusion recently. I wish I got into stacking platinum earlier. Yeah, I think a lot of people did. I'm glad I did when I got in, because I got in sub 1,000, but I definitely wish I had been stacking it for years and years, because I'd be looking even better at this point. But, you know, I'm just glad to have the stack I am. I am very blessed and truly humbled by what I've been able to achieve with my stacking goals and abilities and things of that nature. So overall, stacking has been a lot of fun for me, and I've really enjoyed it a whole bunch. But that's all I have for you today, guys. Great comments on last week's video. Again, be sure to get your comment on this week's video, so I will answer it in next week's video. And With all that being said, guys, be sure to hit the like button down below. Hit the subscribe button so you can stay up to date with future updates on my channel. Leave me a comment in the comment section down below. It can be a question. It can just be some kind words. Whatever you want it to be, and I will read it out in next week's video on Sunday afternoon. And with all that being said, guys, until next time, we will see you.